On resilience, so I saw an interesting post this morning on social media, or not sure if the post was interesting, but I thought it was an interesting conversation. And it was about how the old idea of being tough in situations was revered, and now it's more about, I'm trying to generalize it, and now it's more about recognizing the softness in each situation, the subtleties. And I thought, now this is interesting because I can see both sides here. And I thought, I don't completely disagree with the post, but I do disagree to a degree with it, because I think resilience is a really important trait that everybody needs to have. And without resilience, I would no way have healed from cancer. And I think there is a difference between allowing everything to be okay in terms of, we do a lot of labeling these days of situations and diagnosis, and I think there is a place for that if it helps people move forwards in life. But if it actually holds someone stuck in that position and doesn't enable them to kind of move forwards, heal, shift, whatever it is, then it's not a good thing. And I think, I'm going to use my example because I think that's where I can speak from with more truth. When I had cancer, had I sat stuck in that label of having cancer and the diagnosis, which was, if I did nothing medical, I would have about 6 months to live. Had I sat there and not wallowed, but kind of allowed that to envelop me, I probably wouldn't be here now. But because I decided to just crack on, follow my intuition, so listen to my intuition, listen to myself, listen to my body, take any inspired action that came through in healing myself holistically, no matter what happened. And it wasn't easy, and I had to dig deep for the resilience to come through all that. Had I not actually done that and actually brought that tougher mentality into play of, I can do this, and I just need to keep going here, which is a different level of self-care, I think. Had I not done that, I would not be here. It was because I actually toughened up at that point and took the appropriate action based on that. So the toughening up didn't mean I ignored my system. It didn't mean I ignored the messages, and obviously the diagnosis was a huge message as to where I was out of whack. But what it did mean is that I was relentless. I did not sort of fall back into that label. And there was an interesting moment for me when I went to, and this is going to sound controversial, but I'm going to share it anyway. I went to, it was a healing clinic that was attached to the hospital near where I was living at the time. That was the alternative holistic approach, and there were some lovely practitioners in there offering all kinds of alternative therapies. So we're talking nearly 20 years ago, so it didn't have the mainstream understanding that it now has. And it seemed like a good place to start, so I went there to get some healing. And what I realised from sitting in that waiting room and then going through that, I had this sense of being pinned into that victim picture of having cancer. And I thought, fuck this. Excuse my language. That is what I thought, though. I'm not going to heal. I'm not going to heal if I stay in this space. I need to get away from this. So I never went back. And that's not to say that wouldn't work for other people, but I really listened to myself at that point, and my resilience was in listening to myself and going, actually, that space is going to keep me stuck, and I can't afford to stay stuck. I need to actually transcend that space. And so I listened, didn't go back, didn't work with any of that space, and found other ways forwards for myself. So, bit of a rambly video, I realise, but this whole idea of resilience, I think, is getting a bit lost today in society, where people are, to a degree, I think there is at some points victim signalling happening, and we have to be careful not to be stuck in that space if we want to heal ourselves, transcend, live better lives, feel good in our bodies, contribute greater to society. We want to do all of that. We do sometimes have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps to do that. So, bit of a few rambly thoughts on resilience there. Maybe I'll do another video at some point when everything's kind of crystallized a bit more. So I work one-to-one with women, helping them find their space in the world, helping them connect better into their bodies, have better relationships with their own bodies first before having relationships with other bodies, feel good, enjoy their lives. And this all comes from knowing yourself and creating that great relationship with your body. We do this through energy work, mindset shifting, meditation, and movement. If you're interested in working with me, get in touch. Bye.